Hello there and welcome to the channel. My name's Annie and this is my creative detour. Happy New Year everybody and welcome to 2026. I wish you all health and happiness and creative joy this year. I hope you've all had a wonderful Christmas and festive season and a bit of a rest and started to plan some exciting things for the coming year. I have done a little bit of planning and I've done a little bit of reflecting and assessing, and I've got some things to chat about in this video. So first up, I'm going to recap on your most favourite projects that I created in 2025, and we'll have a little bit of a chat about those. Then I'm going to show you what my 3 favourite projects were that I created in 2025. And then we're going to have a little bit of a chat about the direction of the channel for 2026 and what I'm planning on doing and what journals I'm planning on using and where we're heading. And while I'm talking about that, I'm going to be finishing off a junk journal that I've been making this morning, and I'll finish it off with you while I'm chatting about the plans for this year. And it's my first journal that I'm going to use in January. So let's get started. Okay, so let's start by looking at your most favourite projects that I worked on, and we'll start with the number 3 first. So number 3 was my faux wallpaper. It came in the 3rd most popular video for the year, and for these videos I will link them below for you to go and have a look at them. But I do quite a comprehensive tutorial on how I made this out of packaging and out of tissue paper and out of serviettes and out of dried tea bag wrappers, and how I finish it off so that it is quite rigid and it's water resistant and perfect for journal covers. So this is my faux wallpaper. It's been quite a successful video. I posted it about 2 months ago and I love using it. I've used it for covering quite a few, like I said, a few journals, but then I've also used it in other projects as well, which is where we led to with our flowers. The second most popular video was my tea bags. So hidden paper clips in tea bags, and I used the tea bag as if it was still a tea bag. So I'll just pull out a piece of scrap card. You can see that tea bag goes on a hidden paper clip, but I liked it so that it was still rough on the bottom and showing the edge of the tea bags. So they were fun to make, and I kept it looking like a tea bag. I wanted it to have the tie on it so that it was obvious what it was made from. Like I said, they were super fun to make, and as you can see, I need to do a make on them because I only have 4 left. I've used them all up in my journals and gifted them to people, and I need to get on and make a few more. And then your most popular video were my handmade flowers, and I made these from packaging and from my faux wallpaper. So I used the wallpaper, and the great thing about these flowers is that they are dimensional, and you can scrunch them up and they stay formed, and then when you close your journal they go flat, and you just give them a little bit of a scrunch and they form back up again. So they were your 3 most popular projects, and I enjoyed doing every single one of those ones. So let's have a little look now at my 3 most favourite projects. Coming in at number 3 is tag making, any kind of tags. So I've got lots of tags I've made. I've just pulled out a few that I had created and were in my stash, so it doesn't really matter which tags they are. I do particularly like these ones that have got a little bit of a sense of humour to them, and using quite a few different mixed media techniques. You can see I've got heat embossing on here, I've got stamping, I've got watercolor and some ink blending, a little bit of sketching. So I like layering up different techniques and different media to give it texture and depth and interest. But I particularly like these ones because they've got a sense of humour. I like things that have got a little bit of a story and a bit of a sense of humour in them. So tags are my number 3. Any kind of tags, particularly ones that have got a story. My number 2 was making the frames out of my masterboards. I absolutely loved making all these frames out of scraps. And I particularly liked doing the ones with the stories. You can see here that they've got some people on them, some of them, and creating little stories in frames and using up all those strip scraps. And you can see I did a mass make and loved every step of it. Even making the masterboard, I enjoyed doing that, but I particularly liked making the frames. And you're going to see these pop up during the year when I'm starting to put them into some of the journals. So this was my number 2 favourite for the year. And my number 1 favourite project for the year was participating in a Junk Journal July Challenge 2025. And it was ran by Lee at Lee Creates. And I absolutely loved doing this challenge. This was the first junk journal challenge that I'd ever participated in. As most of you know, I only started my YouTube channel in December of 2024. So I hadn't participated in any junk journaling challenges, and this was my introduction to it. And Lee ran a fantastic challenge, and I sincerely hope that she runs it again this year, because I will definitely participate in it. The thing that I love about junk journaling, and not just making junk journals, but actually using junk journals, is the storytelling in them. I love adding in bits and pieces that tell a little bit of a story about something. And I like creating and telling stories about people as I'm creating it. So you can see here this gentleman, Arthur, he was joining the Navy. And as I built this page, I told the story about him getting on his boat at the Isle of Dogs in London. And so I am really looking forward to participating in some junk journal challenges this year and a few other challenges as well. So this was my number 1 favorite project, and I will link the playlist to this down below if you'd like to have a look at my journal. So that leads us on to what am I going to be doing now. Some of you would know that I participated in the Full Deck Challenge number 3 for the whole year of 2025, and I loved that challenge. But I'm not going to participate in that one this year coming, because I'm going to be traveling quite a bit this year and in large chunks, being away, going to Europe to see our son and, going on a cruise and things like that. And so we're going to be away for a big chunk of time, 6 weeks actually. And then later in the year, we're going away again. And so participating in a challenge that is every week for the entire year, I just can't commit to that. And I don't want to commit to something that I can't fulfill. I will be participating in some challenges throughout the year if they just go for certain months. Now, what I have got in front of me is some of my journals that I will be working in. Now, this is my packaging journal, and I love this journal. It's completely made out of packaging, and I have been adding things to it gradually and telling some stories as I've been working in it. and I'm going to be working in some of my journals a little bit more regularly and filling them up. I would like to actually get to the end of the year and have actually finished some journals with some stories in them. So my packaging journal is definitely going to get a good workout, and I'm going to continue to just put projects in that are made out of packaging, maybe made out of some other bits and pieces, but primarily out of packaging. So that's that goal. I also am going to be doing quite a bit of collage and mixed media. I have picked up this book here, and it's got 50 projects to spark your creativity. And I'm going to be pulling out different ones that catch my eye, and I'll read it to you on the video and then do it with you on camera. So I'm going to be doing that, and sometimes I will do these in some of my journals, and other times I'm going to be doing them as a piece of artwork that I might then frame or do something with. So different formats. I have got my nature's journal here, and I would like to fill this out a little bit more. So I'm going to be doing projects in this one where when I go for bushwalks with my husband or we do something relating to nature, I'm going to be doing compositions in this journal. And then the other one that I'm going to be working on is my monochromatic with a pop of color. So I made this one last year, and this journal is all about black and white and then a burst of color. And so I'm going to be working in this, doing a composition that is primarily in monochromatic. So they're the main journals that I'm going to be working in. I am going to be creating some new journals, and I'm also going to be making some portfolios because I want to create some different sized pieces of artwork that I can gift to people or I can frame and use. So that's where we're heading, but I am going to show you the journal that I'm halfway through making, and I'm going to finish it off on the camera with you. Now I'm starting off the year, like I said, participating in a challenge and creating a journal to use in that challenge. And I'm joining in on the challenge that's called Junk Journal January 2026. And Junk Journal January is normally hosted by Meg from Meg Journals, but she was not doing it this year. So Creativity and Coffee channel is going to be running this, and I thought to myself, yes, I want to participate in that. So that's the first one we're going to be working on, and you're welcome to join it. It's an open collaboration. I will link her channel below so that you can have a look at it and you can join in. She has put together an absolutely fabulous prompts list with some really great prompts that I'm looking forward to doing. And I have started to make a junk journal, and it is purely from junk. It's a true junk journal. I've got it going because I didn't want this video to go too long. So while I'm chatting about my plans for this year, I will be putting it together, but I'll show you where I'm up to. So you can see that this is a junk mail from Regent Seven Seas Cruises, and it's A4 leaflets. I got multiples of them through the mail last year, and I kept them. You can see that I've coloured up my address, and there's one, there's another one, there's another one, and I have joined 3 together and created an accordion. Now, I didn't bother showing this on the camera because most of you will know how to do that. I've just cut some strips of cardstock and scored it down the middle, just like this, and joined them together. You can see that I've joined these ones here, and then it will work. And I have also covered some leftover advertising from my work. So it was an A3 poster, And it's made out of quite firm poster board, and you can see I've cut it up and I have covered it. Now, the paper that I used to cover it was this one here, and it's by Art by Marlene, and you can see I got it on sale. It's from Studio Light, and it's collage paper, and it's very bright and colourful. And I just pulled out 2 sheets and I used them to cover my board. Now what I'm going to do with you is I'm just going to glue this together to create my journal. I'm not going to cover the pages because I'm going to be creating on them, and I'm going to just cover them as I create. But you can see that I have put a little bit of washi onto the edges that are going to get glued to my covers, just to give them a little bit more strength. And I have also numbered them. So this one's 1 to 3, 4 to 6. So you can see here that I'm not going to be doing 1 prompt per page. I'm going to be grouping 3 prompts all on 1 page. And that's because I need to shorten my participation down. And I'll start putting this together and chat with you a little bit about that. So before I glue the back on, I am just going to threadle through some black and white ribbon. And I'm just going to threadle it through, and I'll put down a little bit of double-sided tape onto this so that it can be glued in position. And then I'll put it back through the hole. You can see that I've punched 2 eyelets in the back. Now I possibly might make one of these again. I do have a few journals like this on my channel, and if you like the look of it, just go to the playlist that's journals and notebooks, and there's quite a few different types of journals in there, and I do one like this to make a Christmas accordion album. Now the reason I'm shortening my amount of pages in my journal is because I'm not doing every day in this challenge. When I did the Junk Journal July challenge, I did a post every second day, and I grouped 2 prompts together, and I found that much more achievable for me. Well, for this one, I'm going to group 3 prompts together, and I'm going to post a little less often, but I'm going to give you a much better quality videos. So for 2026, my goal is to post a video twice a week, and it might be a slightly longer video, but the goal is for it to be a more comprehensive and better quality video of doing projects that I enjoy doing. And now that I've got some stats of what you guys like to watch, of things that you're more interested in watching as well. So I'm going to attempt to post on a Monday and a Thursday. Hopefully that will happen. My goal is to post, like I said, twice a week. If it doesn't happen on a Monday and a Thursday, then it will be very close to those days, but my goal is to try and do that. You can see that I'm just putting down some double-sided tape on this, and I'm going to burnish that down and lift off that tape backing. So I think I've spoken to you before about how I wasn't sure whether I wanted a YouTube channel, and my son set it up for me, and then it surprised me how much I enjoyed it. Well, there lies my problem. I enjoyed it a little bit too much, and the balance of all the other things that I'm juggling in my life became a little bit skew-whiff. And as you know, the beginning of the year is a good opportunity for you to do a reset. And that's what this is about. I'm resetting the amount of time that I spend in doing videos and spending time in the craft room. I have quite a few demands on me with helping out with grandchildren and working and other things that are going on. And like I said, we're also going to be traveling quite a bit. So I decided that I'm better off doing fewer posts and a better job. So that's where we're at for this year. So I may occasionally post on the weekends if I do like a haul video, or if there's a particular challenge that is doing something and then I want to do an extra video to show you some other things. And they will just pop up occasionally. But like I said, we're going to aim for 2 videos a week on a Monday, Australian time, and a Thursday, Australian time. So hopefully you all like that idea and continue to watch and support me as I create. Now, you can see that I have just glued that back page down, and this will have prompts number 16 to 18 on it. I'm not worried about the glue affecting the page because I'm going to be collaging on top of it. Let's put the cover on. So I'm going to now cover this with some double-sided tape, and I have some leftover bits here of some double-sided A4 sheet that I will stick on and fill in the gaps. So I'm really looking forward to doing Mixed Media Mondays, and that will be part of my direction where I come up with a project that I'm wanting to do using mixed media. Most of the time it will be some sort of collage, but I'm really looking forward to having an opportunity to play more, and I'll be doing those, like I said, in different formats. Sometimes I might even do them in my index box. I'll do little art cards. And if there's a particular thing that you would like me to make, pop it in the comments below if there's something in particular that you'd like me to show you. On a Thursday, I'm probably going to be doing some sort of project that is relating to junk journaling. And on a Monday, something that is related to mixed media. That's kind of where I think I'm heading. And then if I'm participating in some challenges, then they will drop in there as well. And that's where a bonus video may turn up. So let's burnish that down and lift all of that off. Isn't it great making something useful out of something that was going in the bin? Like this poster board was going into the dumpster at my work. And I said to my manager, do you mind if I take that poster board home and use it to make some journals? And she said, sure, I'm throwing it in the bin. So isn't it fantastic that it didn't go in the bin and that it is now being saved? Okay, so now I'm going to stand this up and put these together so that they're level. Now, you might be thinking, well, Annie, that doesn't look like a very interesting cover. And you are correct. It's not at the moment, and I will add to it once I get into the challenge a little bit, get a bit of a feel for my journal. Don't always do the cover of my journal straight up. I quite often will wait until I'm 2/3 through or a fair way through the challenge, and it kind of speaks to me a little bit. It tends to tell me how it's going, and then I know how I want to decorate my journal. So you can see that I'm just burnishing that down, that accordion fold, and we'll fold that around, and now we can cut off the ribbon because we know how far we want it. There we go. We have our junk journal ready for our challenge, and you can see that, like I said, I'm going to be doing prompts in groups of 3 on a page, and I'll work it through, and then once we get to this side, I'll be able to flip the journal and then work back this way as well. And for those that are super astute, you'll notice that I've only got space up to prompt number 30, but number 31 on the prompt list is reflection. So I'm going to do a flip out and write my reflection and do my reflection page on a flip out here once we get to it. So there we go. Let's tie that up. I'm happy with that. And it looks fun. And it's going to be able to grow as the project grows. So there we go. There's our journal that's been made out of junk, I saved from the rubbish bin from work, and that I received in junk mail from the cruising world. And it's going to get a new life this month, being transformed into all these beautiful prompts. They're super exciting. So thanks for watching today. I really appreciate you hanging in there till the end and seeing how I put the journal together and listening to me do a recap on last year's favourites and also what my plans are for the coming year. So as I said, 2 videos a week, and the next one will be coming up on Monday. So I will see you then. Have a great weekend, everybody, and go and check out the challenge. I'll have it linked below because you may want to join in. It'd be wonderful if you did. All right, thanks for watching, and bye for now.